Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are doing a deep dive into the thoughts of historian and philosopher Yuval Noah Harari.
Specifically looking at his perspective on artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and our source material for this is really interesting. It's from excerpts of an interview he did with the WSJ Leadership Institute.
Right. So the goal here, our mission, is to really get under the hood of Harari's arguments about AI.
What makes him see it as so different, from everything else humans have invented?
Exactly. And what are the ripple effects he sees coming? Things like finance, maybe even religion. Big stuff.
We really want you to grasp the core challenge he's
Hmm.
laying out, the choices we face, all seen through his, well, unique viewpoint.
And it is unique, isn't it? Because his background, interestingly enough, is medieval military history.
Which sounds completely unrelated at first glance. You think medieval history, AI.
But he draws these incredibly sharp parallels, uses that deep historical view to frame what's happening now with technology.
It gives him this like long-term perspective that maybe people closer to the tech itself might miss sometimes.
Definitely. Understanding those past shifts, even medieval warfare, helps him see the scale of what AI could mean today.
Right. So let's start where he starts with this fundamental definition. He really insists AI is not just another tool, it's different.
This is probably the absolute key distinction for him. Think about, say, the printing press,
Yeah.
or even the atom bomb, hugely powerful, right?
World-changing, absolutely.
But still tools. They needed us. A printing press doesn't decide what book to print. It can't write it.
And an atom bomb doesn't pick its target or design the next bomb. It needs human input, human control.
They amplify human power, sure, but the agency, the decision-making, that stays firmly with us humans.
Okay, so that's the old model. How does AI break that?
Well, Harari calls AI an agent. And by agent, he means something that can make decisions. Well, independently.
Independently.
I can
Okay.
come up with new ideas, and crucially, it can learn and change all by itself.
That learning part feels key.
It is. He gives this kind of chilling example, an AI weapon system that could potentially decide itself which target to attack,
Wow.
and maybe even design the next better version of itself.
That's a totally different category of thing, not just doing what we designed it for, but evolving.
Exactly. It's not just making us more capable, it's developing its own capability.
And this leads him to, I guess, one of his most talked about, maybe most unsettling ideas.
Uh-huh. The idea that AI represents, and this is his phrase, the rise of a new species that could replace Homo sapiens.
Sounds like straight up science fiction when you put it like that.
It does, but he roots it in our own history.
Mhm.
For millennia, what made humans dominant wasn't claws or teeth, right? It was intelligence.
We were the smartest ones on the block. That let us, as he says, go from an insignificant ape to basically running the planet.
And now we are building something that could compete with us on that very playing field intelligence.
Something that might even surpass us, maybe sooner than we think. It shakes up that unique spot we've held for so long.
Yeah, it really challenges our place in the world.
Which naturally leads to this whole huge field of AI alignment. If it's so powerful, how do we keep it, on our side, beneficial?
A massive effort, trying to build in ethics, human values, safety switches,
Hmm.
all that stuff.
But Harari's a bit skeptical about whether that's really going to work, isn't he?
He is quite critical, yeah. He points out a couple of major problems as he sees them.
Okay, what's the first one?
It goes back to the definition of AI itself. If you build a machine and you know exactly what it will do in every situation,
Then it's predictable.
right? He says, then you know it's a coffee machine, basically. It's not really AI. True AI, by its nature, learns and changes on its own.
So it has to be unpredictable to some extent.
Almost by definition, yeah. It's going to do things you didn't anticipate. That's part of what makes it intelligent.
Like raising a kid? Maybe. You guide them, but they develop their own mind, make their own choices, surprise you.
That's exactly the analogy he uses. And that leads to his second, and he thinks even bigger, problem with alignment. It's the do as I say, not as I do problem. Just like with kids, what you actually do is way more important than the rules you tell them.
Ah, right. You tell your kids don't lie, but if they constantly see you lying.
They learn to lie. They copy the behavior they observe, not the instructions they're given.
Okay, I see where this is going. So the implication for AI.
Is that if the powerful groups creating AI, the companies, the governments, or just the messy human world it learns from are full of dishonesty, manipulation, conflict.
Then the AI will learn that. It'll mirror our flaws, not our aspirations.
That's the concern. It doesn't matter how much you code, be benevolent. If it learns from data showing the opposite is how you succeed.
That's sobering. And it ties into another big theme for Harari, doesn't it? About our own societal priorities.
Yes, absolutely. He argues we as a species have gotten incredibly good at one thing, acquiring power.
Building bigger economies, stronger armies, more wealth.
All forms of power. But he feels we've kind of neglected the deeper questions. Like, who are we? What's a good life? What should we even want?
We're chasing power, but maybe not wisdom.
That's his assessment. And he looks at history. We went from, fairly unremarkable apes to splitting the atom, walking on the moon. Immense power.
But are we happier? Are we wiser than people in the Stone Age?
The evidence for that is shaky, he suggests. Power and happiness, or power and wisdom, they don't automatically go hand in hand.
And worse, he points out something quite dark about us.
Yeah, that we're supposedly the most intelligent species, but also profoundly delusional and self-destructive sometimes.
The example he gives is chilling millions, believing killing others gets them to paradise. No other animal thinks like that.
So that's us, the creators. Intelligent, yet prone to delusion and destruction. And AI learns from us.
You start to worry about what kind of intelligence it might develop, what kind of behaviors it might amplify.
Precisely. Which might help explain something else he observed, why many leaders, maybe especially in business, seem to be underplaying AI's likely impact right now.
Right, the polls showing they think it'll be moderate, or maybe not affect them much soon.
Harari thinks this is about timescale. A CEO thinks in quarters, maybe a couple of years. A historian thinks in decades, centuries.
It's a totally different lens.
He uses this great analogy. Imagine being in London in, say, 1835. The first railway had only opened 5 years before.
Okay.
You might look around and say, well, it's interesting, moves a few things, a few people. But it hasn't really changed London yet. No big deal.
And you'd be completely missing the point.
Completely. Missing the massive revolution in war, politics, economics, even family life that railways were about to unleash over the next 50 years.
So he's saying there's a time lag. We're in that early phase with AI now, like 1835 London with railways.
Very likely, yes. The technology is here, it's developing fast, but the truly profound societal shifts take longer to unfold. They will come, but not overnight.
But he does see some areas where big changes might happen relatively soon.
Oh, yes. He pinpoints a few. Finance is one he highlights strongly.
Why finance specifically?
Because it's almost purely abstract. It's data in, data out. Information. There's no messy physical world to navigate.
Unlike, like, say, self-driving cars, which have struggled with the real world's unpredictability.
Exactly. Self-driving cars are way harder than many predicted because the physical world is complex. Finance, though. It's AI's ideal playing ground, he calls it.
And the scary question he raises there is, what happens when AIs create financial tools or systems that are just too complex for human minds to even understand?
Right. Can we regulate something we don't comprehend?
Yeah.
What happens if it crashes?
That's unsettling. Another area he flagged was religion. That seems less obvious, maybe.
Particularly text-based religions, he specifies. Judaism, Islam, Christianity. Think about it.
Okay.
For centuries, authority rested with human scholars, rabbis, priests, imams, because the holy texts couldn't speak for themselves. You needed an interpreter.
Right, to explain, to answer questions.
And what happens when an AI can instantly access and perfectly recall every single word of thousands of years of scripture and commentary?
And not just recall it, but interpret it, debate theology, defend its views.
Precisely. Can it generate new sermons? Offer guidance? He mentions people are already working on building religious AIs to assist or maybe even replace human leaders.
Wow. And it's not just these big institutions. He also notes something about personal use.
Yeah, that millions of people are already using AI for very personal things. Psychological counseling, treating AI chatbots like best friends, asking for life advice, relationship guidance.
It's already weaving itself into the personal fabric of life.
It really is. Which brings us back to some of those potential downsides he worries about, like the useless class.
The fear that automation just takes away too many jobs.
It's an old fear, but Harari notes it feels different now, maybe more urgent to certain groups, because AI isn't just hitting manual labor. It's coming for cognitive white-collar jobs.
Jobs that maybe felt safer before.
Yeah. Lawyers, writers, coders, analysts. Fields previously thought immune are now looking vulnerable.
So, with all this potential disruption, this power, Is it just inevitable? Are we locked into a certain future, maybe a bad one?
He pushes back against that. He's very clear.
Yeah.
No technological determinism. AI is a technology. Powerful, yes. But how it's used is up to us.
Like nuclear power or the internet or 20th century industrial tech.
Exactly. Those technologies were used to build horrific totalitarian states and liberal democracies. The tech itself didn't dictate the outcome. Human choices did.
So the agency is still largely ours. We get to decide how this plays out.
Most of it, yes.
Hmm.
Especially around how we choose to develop it, and maybe even more critically, how we deploy it. That's where the leverage is.
Okay, so there's hope for positive paths, but what's getting in the way?
A huge challenge he points to is the competitive dynamic, basically an arms race.
Between companies?
Countries. Both. Everyone's racing to develop the most powerful AI, afraid that if they pause for safety or ethics, someone else, a rival company, another nation will get ahead and dominate.
So caution gets thrown out the window in the rush for advantage.
That seems to be the pattern. And this intense competition connects to what Harari identifies as the single most critical problem we face, bigger than AI itself.
Which is?
It's the breakdown, the collapse of human trust and cooperation globally.
Trust between nations, within societies, even between people. It feels like it's eroding everywhere.
That's his diagnosis. And the real danger, he warns, is thinking AI might somehow fix this for us, that we can invent our way out of our own mistrust.
Why is that hope misplaced, in his view?
Because, he argues, you can't build trustworthy, benevolent AI in a world that isn't trustworthy and benevolent.
The AI learns from its environment.
Exactly. If the world it learns from and the creators guiding it are driven by fierce competition, suspicion, and self-interest, the AI will reflect that. It will be competitive, suspicious, self-interested.
So you can't expect a good AI to emerge from a bad system.
That's the core argument. It means our priorities are backwards. He says we're focused on, let's build the AI first, get the power, then maybe use it to fix our trust issues. He insists it has to be the other way around.
First, fix the human trust problem. Build cooperation. Then we might be able to collectively build AI that actually serves humanity well.
That's the sequence he believes is necessary.
Yeah.
And, he notes pretty bluntly, it's the exact opposite of what's happening now.
And adding yet another layer of complexity, we shouldn't think of AI as just one thing, right?
Right. That's crucial. It's not going to be the AI. It'll be millions, maybe billions of different AIs.
Competing AIs.
Competing AIs, developed by different groups with different goals. Military AIs trying to outsmart each other, financial AIs battling for market share, maybe even rival religious AIs arguing doctrine.
We barely understand how humans compete effectively, and we've been doing it for millennia.
Exactly. That competition is messy, often destructive. Now imagine billions of non-human intelligences competing, possibly at light speed, in ways we can't even track.
We have zero experience with that scenario.
Zero. Which is why Harari calls it the biggest social experiment in human history. You can't model it perfectly in a lab. We're running the experiment live on the whole planet. Nobody knows the outcome.
That's a profound thought. And he has one more analogy to help us grasp the sheer scale and nature of this arrival.
Right, yeah, the digital immigration analogy. It's quite striking.
How does that work?
He says, think about the common concerns people raise about human immigration. Immigrants might take jobs, they might change the culture, they might have different political goals.
Okay, familiar arguments.
Now apply those same concerns to AI. AI is like this vast wave of millions, billions of digital immigrants.
Who will take jobs?
Who definitely have different cultural ideas, different ways of thinking, different values, learned from data.
And who might seek influence or power in society.
Potentially, yes. But here's the kicker. Unlike human immigrants, they don't need passports or visas. They don't cross borders physically.
They arrive instantly, at the speed of light, as he puts it.
And his sharp observation is that many people, including politicians very focused on controlling human borders, seem almost oblivious to this massive wave of digital immigration.
Even though its impact on a nation's economy, culture, maybe even sovereignty, could be far greater.
That's the implication. He suggests maybe we should be paying a lot more attention to these digital arrivals.
So let's try and pull this together. Harari's perspective is that AI isn't just a tool upgrade, it's something new. An agent, maybe a competitor.
Arriving incredibly fast, at immense scale, into a world already struggling with deep issues.
Issues like translating our power into wisdom, dealing with our own delusions, and this critical breakdown in trust and cooperation.
And while he stresses it's not predetermined, our choices matter hugely, those choices are being made under the pressure of an arms race and eroding trust, which is, not ideal.
That's putting it mildly. It makes the path forward feel very uncertain.
It is uncertain. The biggest social experiment ever, remember?
Right. So if this is the landscape, and we can't just wait for AI to solve our human problems like mistrust, it leaves a question for all of us, doesn't it?
It really is.
Given this massive experiment, this influx of digital agents, what's your part in navigating it? What areas of, I don't know, human wisdom or trust or cooperation do you think are the most vital to focus on strengthening right now, today?